Hey guys, it's your girl Tower Crush back with a view, and this time I'm going to be talking about colorism. Colorism is defined as prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic group. So that means African Americans tend to judge each other based off of our skin tone, and we all know that that goes back to that one era, in the I guess the 19th century when it ended, we still had those prejudices in our head. Now, I'm one person that you'll probably meet that is not afraid to admit her faults, is not afraid to keep it real, because I feel like we don't grow if we don't keep it real. Now, colorism, I will also say, is not just for the dark skinned black folks, it's for light skinned white black folks as well, because you know I joke around all the time and say stuff like light skinned people got watered down melanin, stuff like that. That's colorist to say that, even though it's a joke. That's that is a colorist statement. um if you say light skinned men have small penises, that's a colorist statement. um if you think dark skinned men are more violent than light skinned men, that is a colorist statement. So we have things in our brain. Like me personally, I feel like if I had to choose between um a dark skinned friend and a light skinned friend, I would probably gravitate closer to the dark skinned friend, because if I don't know either one of them, I'm going to try to make friends with the dark skinned one first, because I find personally that dark skinned women are easier to approach than light skinned women sometimes. And we have to understand where this country has been, where we come from. Like after slavery, a lot of people don't know, but lighter skinned women could claim Creole and get special benefits that darker skinned people couldn't get. So there was something to it where light skinned people felt like they was a little better back then. Some, I'm not saying all, but some, that was the attitude, that was the mood. So, and they was rewarded for their fair skin. They were given more opportunities than darker skinned women. If you go into other countries, it's even worse than that, because like in South America, if you are a dark skinned woman or dark skinned man, you are not allowed to work in front of the public. Like if you want to work at a restaurant, you couldn't be a waitress, you couldn't be a hostess, you couldn't be any of that. You can work in the back, because simply because you're dark skinned. That is colorism. Colorism goes way deep, way deep. But we have to admit that it is an issue before we can work on solving it, because that's part of the division in our community. And it's one of those things that we don't really talk about like that, but we really need to talk about it. And I noticed that last night, since it came up on one of the shows that I review, I said we need to have a discussion about this. So how do we get away from it? I have no clue. um it's going to have to be something that we practice, and we have to stop implanting things in the next generation's head. Like my granny used to tell me all the time, I can't stand dark skinned people. Now mind you, my granny was light bright and damn near white. Okay, she had gray eyes, green eyes. They used to change colors. She didn't give me nothing but her gap. Her gap in her tooth, that's all she gave me. But my granny used to tell me all the time, patronizing me, telling me that she didn't like dark skinned people. And I remember thinking I was about 3. I was like, well, granddaddy dark skin, you liked him. I've always been a mess. But, things like that. So I know for a fact that it's passed down. She would say, I don't like dark skinned people because they sneaky. You can't trust dark skinned people. That's what she would say. Now, y'all know exactly where that came from. So those things have been passed on and on and on and on. So we have to at some point acknowledge it and make conscious efforts not to feed into it. Like the DJs that say, where my dark skin, I don't like, stop doing that. Where my light skinned females at? Where my dark skinned females? Why? Why? I would rather you say where my big girls at, where my skinny minis at. I would rather you do something like that than to do the colorist thing. We have got to get away from that, because that makes us that just divides us more. And it makes it seem like us against them when we should be all working together. So I just felt like I needed to, and I really do want to speak up for the light skinned black people, because people like my hero, Angela Davis, they got teased for not being dark enough or not being black enough. And we got to stop that too. And I will also say, as a black female, I've been called monkey more by light skinned black women than I have anybody else. So it's something about light skinned women that feel like they can call dark skinned women monkeys, orangutans, and all of this. That has got to stop. Why? Why would you want to? Why would you do that? Even if you're mad at that person, why would you do that, Evelyn Lozado? No, seriously, why would you do that? You don't. If your first reaction is to say you look like a monkey, then there's something very wrong with the way you look at yourself. You don't do that. I can't really fathom that. Like, why you would go there. Um when it's so many other words you could use. But I think when they do that, it's a direct stab, and it's supposed to make us feel a certain way. But you know, I grew up for a long time thinking that I did look like one. I didn't know. They're brown, I'm brown. I got big old eyes, they got big old eyes. So, my ears protrude. I got these ears, so that didn't help. But it's all good. I got somebody to marry me, and he loves me completely and entirely. So, all jokes aside, colorism, we cannot be afraid to talk about it. We cannot be afraid to put our 2 cents on it. And we also have to be cognizant and working on changing our own narratives. We have to. We have to work on changing our own narratives if we want others to, because that's going to help us respect. When we respect ourselves, others will respect us more. Not saying that we are only doing it to get their respect, but it's kind of like people would treat you no better than you treat yourself. So say a guy meets a girl, and she never gets her hair done, never gets her nails done, she just doesn't do much for herself. He's not going to be looking to do anything for her. If she makes it important that these things are done, then he's going to know that he has to, if he's going to deal with her, that's something that he's going to have to step up and help her do. But if you don't love yourself, ain't nobody going to love you. When you love yourself, they know that they can't do X, Y, and Z to you. So it's the same thing with colorism. Like, if we want people to respect us and, hold us as the kings and the queens that we are, we have to treat each other the same way, regardless to the melanin content. Tara Cooley. Because I do have a few things in my brain about light skin versus dark skin, and that's wrong for me to have. But I have to admit it in order to, get it off of me, and also let people know that I'm working to be better. But as far as the show that mentioned it, there's a lot of colorism on that show, but you don't even realize it because it's like normal stuff that we normally see. It's no surprise to me that the green-eyed devils are light skinned, and they do bully, they pick on, and that's very indicative of my childhood. The light skinned ones with the pretty hair and the long hair. I always wanted to talk about the darker skinned ones, and it was never nice. It was, I'm better than you because my hair is straight. I'm better than you because my hair is long. I'm better than you because I'm lighter than you. And we got to get away from that. But first, we got to admit that it is a problem. A lot of people don't want to admit that they think like that, but they really do. And so I'm getting it off my chest since, again, I had that, it's coming up in shows a lot. So it's something that we need to discuss. So please, if you have anything to add or you disagree with something that I said, go ahead and leave me a comment so that we can work through it. That's the only way we're going to work through it, is if we talk about it. Okay? I thank you guys. That is my $5.02. Peace.